The Agent David O. Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, David O, and I've got an exciting topic for you today. We're going to be talking about, will AI replace real estate agents? And this is a big, scary topic for a lot of us out here that are agents that make a living generating commissions. Technology is moving so fast. AI is evolving so fast. Some of us are afraid, like, is it going to take over? And we have to be prepared for this. We have to forward think. We have to plan and set up our businesses in a way that we won't become obsolete as AI increases in its power and reach in all industries for that matter. But in real estate specifically, I think we have some very big things to be concerned with. I want to start out with telling you kind of a history of a man named Rich Barton, who, if you haven't recognized that name in real estate, I'd wonder where you've been. But Rich Barton is the founder of Zillow, which I'm sure 100% of you are very, very familiar with Zillow. But I like to go back to where he really made his claim to fame and made some of his early money. And that was in the year 1996 when he founded the company called Expedia. Now, if some of you may be too young to remember this, but back in the 90s and 80s and 70s and before then, if your family wanted to take a vacation, how would you set up the vacation? And almost a vast majority of people would say they reached out to their travel agent, right? They had a travel agent that would book all of the hotel stays, the airfare, all that stuff for them. And so Rich had this great idea that, hey, I want to bring the booking websites and all that stuff to make it accessible online so that people can book their own travel. And he had this big vision that he wanted to replace the travel agent. And what happened over a very short period of time after he founded Expedia is Expedia started acquiring other companies, and some of these companies you may recognize today: hotels.com, VRBO, Orbit, Travelocity, Hotwire, Trivago. All of these companies now are owned by Expedia. And they absolutely have dominated this space of allowing people to directly book their vacations. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know a single person in my sphere of influences, which is hundreds and hundreds of people. And I've met thousands of people in the last couple years just becoming, a real estate professional in my local market. I don't know a single person today that is a travel agent, which is crazy. So I look back at this and I tend to think he has completely replaced the idea of becoming a travel agent or acting as a travel agent. Now, I'm sure there's still travel agents out there, and there's people, maybe wealthy people, that rely on somebody else to book vacations and stuff like that. But for the most part, the average American does not use a travel agent to book travel. They book it themselves, right? They go online and they book the airfare, they book the hotels and all of that stuff on their own. In fact, my wife and I last year we took a trip to Spain and visited several cities, and even for that trip, we didn't use any type of travel agent. We booked everything ourselves, and we had to book trains in between the cities and all that stuff, and we were very easily able to do that online through some of the websites like Expedia's portfolio, right? So I tell you all of this because after Rich left Expedia, he went on to found the Zillow Group. And what the Zillow group has set out to do from day one is to do exactly what they did in the travel agency, but to the real estate agents. And we tend to forget this, and they're not really throwing this in the agent's face right now because they make a lot of money off of real estate agents today. But their ultimate goal, guys, and they talk about this on their investor calls. So if you're a stockholder with Zillow stock or anything like that, you'll see in a lot of the materials that they're putting out on their quarterly bulletins and meetings is that they have this Zillow app that they call the super housing app, and that's terms from their investment pamphlets and stuff like that. And their vision is to have everything in the app from when the buyer decides to start the home search, when the buyer picks up a lender, when the buyer picks their real estate agent, when the buyer schedules to see homes, when the buyer hires an inspector, when the buyer hires their movers, the title work, all that stuff they want to be done inside of this Zillow Housing Super App so that they control everything. And it's kind of crazy what Zillow's been able to do over the last decade. They have opened up brokerages in every single state in the United States. They have their own lending mortgage company now. They have their own title company. They own the product Showing Time, which all realtors across the country use to schedule showings on properties. They own the biggest real estate CRM in America right now called Follow Up Boss. Guys, it is super scary that they have the ability to deploy this with the help of AI. I see this 100% being in the next 5 years that they will not need the real estate agent. Now, today, if you know anything about how Zillow works, they make a lot of their revenue, a lot of their money off of agents. So they have things set up to where you used to pay for advertising or used to pay for zip codes. Now they've created this thing called the Zillow Flex program where they take some agents and they get all the top leads that come in through Zillow, and they give Zillow a very hefty part of their commission. Sometimes it's over 40% of their commission goes to Zillow. And so Zillow's kind of partnering with those agents. And so they're getting a lot of revenue off of that right now, but it's all being set up to where all of these ancillary businesses, all these shoulder industries like the lending, the title work, the movers, those businesses are going to start feeding them in. And we're already starting to see that happen. I've got a couple really good friends of mine who are brokers that are in that Zillow Flex program. And Zillow's came down and said, hey, you guys have to start using our mortgage company. You guys have to start using our title company. And that's scary because a lot of these brokers, in order to be competitive, they've lowered their splits with their agents, and they've created their own mortgage companies and their own title companies to make up for lost revenue to be competitive to bring more agents over there. And so now Zill's saying, hey, you can't do that anymore. If you want to keep getting our leads, you've got to start using our mortgage company and our title company. And it's putting agents and brokers in a very difficult position right now because Zillow's kind of flexing their power when it comes to this. And I don't see a scenario in the next 5 years where they don't Uberize the real estate agent. And I say Uberize because you guys all remember, 15, 20 years ago, you had to and hail a taxi, right? You called a taxi company or you waved one down on the street to get a taxi. And now almost nobody uses taxis. Taxis are so obsolete because the app Uber came out and it allows you to just dial one up right from your app and you can see and track its progress as it's arriving to your destination. You get ETAs, you get the price that's quoted. It's all super convenient. And that's what I liken what's going to happen to the real estate agent with the Zillow app is they are going to Uberize the industry and make everything so seamless that there would be no reason to call your Aunt Sue, who's a realtor, to try to schedule showings on houses when you're on the Zillow app and you can say, I want to see this house at 5 o'clock, and you can go see that house at 5 o'clock. And the technology already exists where you can self-show the house, or Zillow can have their agent go to the house and show it to you. But that's ultimately where I see this going. I think agents must start diversifying and start creating other streams of income and other niches that they can get into to avoid being replaced by Zillow and AI and all that stuff that's coming to the forefront. Because at the end of the day, guys, this industry is changing, and it's going to be changing very, very fast. And we've got to take action. And so, a couple of things I would say to you as an agent or an investor right now. Number one, start creating your own wealth, right? Don't be 100% dependent on this commission check that you have to generate every single month to pay your bills, right? We've got to start investing in the real estate that we're selling. It's so important, it's so critical to start investing in real estate and just get started. That's the hardest part of this, if you've never invested before, is going out and buying your first investment property and getting the wheel spinning. I know that was for me. I spent over a year trying to analyze everything that I could possibly do to make sure I wasn't going to lose money. And then I still lost money on my first deal. So get some help. And we offer that through our program at Join Cashflow Nation. Shameless plug there, but I'm happy to jump on a call with you and talk about how we can help you start investing and start making some of these pivots. But starting investing in real estate. So AI, what it's not going to do is it's not going to replace you flipping houses or renting out houses and generating income by doing that. That's going to be around till the end of days, right? So we've got to start owning and investing in real estate. That is a huge wealth builder for anybody out there. And I always say, you have to be in real estate because it's the one thing that we can control, right? We can fix up a house, we can rent it out. When we're invested in cryptocurrencies, when we're invested in the stock market, we're invested in bonds and all this stuff, like we don't have any control over that. So the market can go down and we're screwed. Versus real estate, it's very slow to rise and slow to fall, and can be done extremely risk averse and extremely safely if you know what you're doing or you have help from an advisor like me and any of the agents on our team. So that's number one, start creating other cash flow for you. Number two is, as a real estate agent, one of the niches that has been so successful and so profitable for me is working with investors. And we liken it to, we're kind of like a financial advisor for people, right? We're helping them invest in real estate, helping them make smart decisions that are setting them up and building wealth for them and their family for years to come. That is a niche that AI and Zillow is not going to be able to replace. Zillow is not going to become your financial advisor and help them create a retirement plan based on investing in real estate. That's only something that we're going to be able to fulfill. So one of the very strategic niches that I think agents can get into right now is helping investors, and there's a huge need. Right now, the stats say 90% of real estate agents don't invest in real estate. So there's a big gap there between qualified agents that can help people invest, that have done investing themselves and have that experience. So there's an opportunity for you to start investing and then start helping other people with investing. That's gonna kind of protect you from this AI and Zillow that can come in and completely replace just the traditional agent looking to help somebody buy or sell their primary home. Because we're working with investors, we're trying to give sound investment advice, we're connecting with contractors and lenders that can help on investing, and kind of pulling up property managers that can help them run with their rentals and things like that. So those are the top two things I would recommend that agents get help with right now. And of course, we're on the forefront of helping people with that. I've got that book behind me here, Investor Friendly Agent, that I wrote, talks about our exact process, our exact system that we use as agents. to help people invest, and we become what we've service marked as a real estate investment advisor. So we're not going to be called, realtors or real estate agents. We're going to be real estate investment advisors. And I truly believe when AI comes in and replaces a traditional real estate agent, there's still going to be a need for people with licenses, and they're going to be real estate investment advisors. That's a gap today, guys, that the average American doesn't have access to somebody that can just help them buy rental properties and set up for wealth. It can't be done. You can go and talk to all the financial advisors in the world, but none of them are licensed to trade real estate, and they can't help you in that side of the game, which is so critical and so important. As Andrew Carnegie said, that 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. So we have to start owning if we want to create wealth. And so this is going to be a cool opportunity for you guys to really diversify before there is a complete shut off of the traditional agent. So I encourage you to go to jointcashflownation.com, keep listening to episodes, subscribe, and like the show. I'm excited for your guys' growth, and have a blessed week.